what happened is that at the clinic, they would do some test. And then they picked up about, namakama matatu. Sabuyi results is 2 lines.
Sure.
And I
Sure.
I started dating abantu besifazane.
Ooh.
Now, this is very interesting. This is where also Nami I've lived recklessly. At some point, my family was the one who was giving me pills because I was still not mentally stable.
Dumelang babogedi ko gae. My name is Mawatu Mutswane. Welcome to Jenny's with More. Welcome back. Guys, today we are educating. Like, we are going to be telling you everything you need to know about the HIV. And we're not going to be saying it in a way that we think we doctors. No. There's a disclaimer. We're just saying a story that one woman, it's a journey that one woman encountered in her life. She's just going to take you through it. And yeah, that's basically it. For now, I'm with her. She's going to be introducing herself, telling you who she is, where she's from. We don't tell age because you know how we don't tell age. Women don't tell how old they are. Can you take it away, my honey?
Hi friends. Well, like you said, Nkanyisa, makade bomthi mkhulu bungani dlabe enhle zombini. Mafunza flele ntshekele flemfula. Those who know me. Banibisa uHenry because kaloku ndifiti, you know. Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Oh, Kanyisa, it's a pleasure. I've been wanting this lady in this seat for the longest time. Kanyisa, please tell us where you come from and tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a little bit of touch-ups about who you are.
Okay, a little bit might be more.
I love it.
Well, I am based in Joburg, but originally I'm from the Eastern Cape. So yeah, I'll use my social media livelihood. I am an HIV activist, a self-appointed. Well, I was diagnosed with HIV in 2012. It wasn't an easy journey for me because in that I still lived in denial. I still refused to take medication because, well, back in the days, everyone I think was scared to just start.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stigma,
Yeah.
you know.
Even now, I think the stigma is still a thing.
There's still stigma, and I feel like stigma is just moved with times. Now, well, people are not just judged by being positive and doing all sorts, but now you look at people saying, you wayenje, why you fit and all of that. Do you understand? But basically, I was diagnosed in 2012, and then after my diagnosis, I was shocked and I didn't even want to take medication.
You were like,
I'm telling
not
you.
me.
I was like, no, angizi lapho bathi mina HIV.
Were you not thinking about the wholesome stage where you're gonna be sick? Were you not scared of that?
It didn't come. I didn't think about that at all.
Total denial, ne? You
Although
were in denial.
I was in denial, although I knew what happens when one is not taking medication. I've actually lived in a time where, you know, in my community, you know, you'd experience HIV, you know, I still have some of those things, you know, I saw when I was growing up. People that I knew, people close to me, they suffered, you know, as a result. Although some left without even disclosing. But you know how our communities are, you know.
Someone always knows.
Someone always knows something. Or I don't know where they're getting all of this, you know. But now you're thinking, oh, no wonder they were like that. So that image, it's still there. You understand? But with me, after my diagnosis, I never really thought about being sick. I feared dying, you know. I was like, yo, ngizazo shona. But everyone is going to die at some point.
So when after you were diagnosed, you were like, death. You were thinking about death.
Death. And I don't have enough time on earth. So I need to make sure I do all the things that I've always wanted to do.
So reckless life begins.
Don't tell me about it. I was diagnosed. I was in a relationship, you know. And now, I know most of the time, people are always arguing with me, does this person know what she's saying? She's just disclosing that she had unprotected sex after being diagnosed. Is that not a criminal offense? But at least I'm honest about my journey.
I mean, it's your story to tell.
It's my story to tell, and with no excuse, you know. But I'm not taking away the fact that I now at this point I understand Uti, all of that wasn't channeled well. I should have done better.
When in terms of disclosing.
In terms of disclosing to my then partner. Because I found out while I was in this relationship, which I'm actually living with HIV, and it just started, you know.
Kanisa, wait, let's just take it from the top. I want you to take us through how. Are you comfortable talking about how you got it?
Well, how I got the HIV, it's a very, well, the story now becomes more interesting. I think this is what I should be saying. You know, when I grew up, I was this child from my hometown who obviously avoided things like dating. You know, teenagers, they have someone to be with, you know. But me now, on the other side, I chose, you know what, I'm not going to involve myself in dating and all of that, you know.
So you're not that
I wasn't that child who turned up a fun. You understand? But what then happened is that in high school, there was an incident, which involved me. I like talking about it as much as now, when I think about my other life, I still want to question, you know. But let me tell you about it. So when I was in grade 11 in high school, we went on a school trip, right? And I might have to say this, you know, I think the biggest mistake that we make is like taking things light. See, when I was in high school, one of my teacher, you know, I'd say, okay, I like you, you know, chubby baby. Because now when I grew up,
imagine chubby baby.
We understand, like, a whole teacher. So I told my friend, you know, and I took it light. Remember, I've never been in a relationship. I've never dated anybody. Now, you know, saying all these things, you know, and I'm like listening to this adult, like, what gives him the impression that this is a conversation that I'm ready to hear? Because at that particular time I wasn't dating. But I told my friends and I was like, yo, even worse, lo baba yazi nomlomo wakhe. Awunukeli fresh. Because he's one person who like talking very close, like, oh, come here. Woo. And I knew at some point I wouldn't give this man a chance because I never gave my peers, you know,
exactly. I was about to ask you.
Exactly. I knew that for sure, Guti, even dark or blue. And well, I didn't think it was a big issue because I knew, Guti, in my soberness, but I'm asking myself, Guti kanjani? So now there came a time where there was a school trip. So the school trip, he was amongst the teachers who was actually organizing the trip and all of that. We went in, it was a day trip, but we arrived the next day, you know, we went in, I don't really remember, it was around 2008, but it was maybe Saturday, then they'll spend the whole day at the event until the night and whatever. So there was also uchwala, you know. So now we are there, siyaphuza, you know, uchwala ebantwana abancane, because at that time I was not even if I still remember, I got 10, 18, or maybe I was going to 10, 18.
And there was no drinking responsibly.
There was no, exactly. Yeah. So we are all like, all of that. And I still have memories of that day. There's some things I remember. Even at some point while we were drinking, there was moments where we were rolling.
You guys are having fun.
Teachers also, it was just chaotic.
Also the teachers are joining.
Everyone was just all over. You know, there was swimming pools, there was every other things, you know. And then I drank also, I would say, I had too much drinking. Because what happened on that day is that within that space, it was chaotic. People would remember that, you know, school, I would say it's an outing. I can't say event, to me event, but the school trip, you know, I think that's the proper language. They would remember that it was indeed chaotic. I still remember, you know, we could
hear. And when you are relaxed because how jolly pale. You don't have a boyfriend.
You know.
So you're like, I'm just gonna drink.
One thing that I still remember so clearly, because as I don't know how they are not making sense to me, right? Someone could say, hello, but I remember there was a point where my other friend, boyfriend yake, and the driver, we went in to go and buy more twala.
Teacher is the same teacher.
The same teacher.
Okay.
I was like, no, let's just go there. I think at some point, this is why when you are growing older, you start realizing and taking accountability. I'm not saying, because I know this is how a lot of times victims want to think, ukuthi nami I was extra, nami, but at the end of the day, it doesn't take away back. If you're an adult,
You were violated.
you know, you need to actually be the responsible at times, more especially if you're around abantwana. So we went in, just after that, some memories, they're failing me. So what then happens is that on a Monday, when we have to return to school, remember we arrived emakaya Kokusa, and then it was a Sunday. You understand? And then I do remember, like, I thought it was ipapalaza. I was feeling uneasy. Do you understand? Like, it's okay, fine. Maybe we had too much drinking and all of that. And I did not even understand the other episodes about.
So you don't remember actually what happened after you buy the...
I didn't know that there's anything that I also needed to remember. Do you understand? Yeah, we were drinking, all of that. So now, but only when I get to school, one of my friends calls me. She didn't go to the trip. Why are you not saying? Chomi a trender. Yabo?
So they saw you or what? What happened?
This is one thing I always say to God. It couldn't have just been a rumor. Or maybe it could have been. But now here's the interesting part. When we are talking, obviously, with my friends, there's revelation that, hey, 340. Right in that time.
So they tell you, Horbona, you don't know when, but
I don't know.
You were intimate with a teacher. And after that, they also tell you, it was not just only intimacy. Also, this guy has...
But...
That's too much.
Hey, I muruked. I went through a lot. And now, going through a lot... If I still remember, La trip, it was like at the end of the term, like the school term. We are closing very soon. We are just going to receive my reports. Then the next year I'm going to matric. So now everything is just happening. That was around the time. Yeah, but we are just closing up. Final
for
exams, then we are gone. You understand? So now I really battled with my thoughts. Oh my gosh. I just lost it. Benga understand ukuthi, okay, manje, right now, where do I even begin? Can I even go and ask this teacher, did you do that to me?
Nothing is coming back.
I'm telling you, nothing is coming back. Nothing is coming back. And I'm already trending Escole, and my peers, they were obviously on the thing now. And then now I just moved around doing a bit of research, understanding, Indobana friends, what is happening? Those who were present in that trip. It was just chaotic. We don't know much.
Can I ask you, when they spread this rumor, is anybody saying to you, I saw?
Nobody told me,
exactly
this is what
happened.
I saw. And at this point, this is what was frustrating for me, is that, okay, everyone is talking about it, but who was the initiator?
Who witnessed?
You understand?
Who saw?
Who saw? That's one thing I went in and I was like, guys, I really need to be asking abantu around. I remember I went into this other girl. She doesn't drink alcohol. Giboba, I'm a Christians, deep. Do you understand? Ngambuza, okay, fine. Since you were there, but baby girl, mnanje, one thing I can just say, ukuthi ngiboni la ijestrini yakho ibiqothulelekile. That's what she said. I'm like, no, man, when I was dressing, obviously, when you keep it in the paint lamp.
Kanye, that must have been traumatic for you.
I went through hell. It was just like a movie at that time. We only watch about Chike Chan at that time, but that one was a real Netflix episode. And I'm going through
and that's your life. Don't make me laugh. It's not a laughing matter.
No, don't.
And you are going, and that's your life. And you are a teenager.
I am just
you are
a
going
teenager.
To grade 12.
I'm going to
so
grade 12 with so much baggage. I don't have the direction to Essie's story. I recall nothing.
Don't you at any point feel like confronting this man?
I didn't. In fact, I started feeling like Damzonda,
the hatred.
And then I started saying, you know what, if I had also mentioned that Lotata Shela, then I think even if I could go ahead and take this matter further, people would actually understand. But I actually mentioned this besides my friend of which Chomi, Baboli Labatata, especially Luatata. You understand?
He knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew exactly maybe or whatever happened. Because at this point I sit with that story that never became like cleared. Uyabo?
And also, you don't want to implicate him in things that you don't even remember, even though you were told that this
Even
is...
though I was, and then at that point, if maybe I had found out immediately before I could even take baths or whatever, they called me. Remember at that time, missing my phone to in high school.
And we didn't know about those things.
No.
There's still people who don't know about those things. Even now.
Whatever. So now it's like they would have texted me to say, they waited for me to come. Then at some point, I still ask myself, how do these things work? We understand.
Because had you known about these things, you would have gone to the clinic, gotten yourself help.
Maybe I would have.
Let's not go back to, let's not go to the how it could have happened if it was not, because that would be just another disaster. Okay, going on.
So now what happened is that I felt so ashamed. I was very embarrassed. What was also embarrassing is the fact that my peers, they know Gutman, I'm not a person who I'm a relationship. And at that particular time, some of my peers were already sexually active, and they were talking about that openly, and I wasn't. So it looked like, low value, but do you understand?
Yeah, it's like you're hiding.
Like me, I'm this person who's this and that, but I'm actually not that person.
Sure.
Yeah, and it was just a lot on me. I didn't know how to approach this situation. To say, okay, this happened. But I'm going to make it short. One time, there came a lady who was obviously those people who come to ukunikeza abantu hope, will inspire. One of the learners at the school who comes to donate now because she's now working and she is, we are Pila, and she remembers la figure con. So this lady came to school one time, and I think for me, Nwala lady, to be able to exchange among numbers was when usisi watik mina wabuza a question in a wall school, so I was able to respond to that question. She picked it up and said, lo mntwana smart lo. We understand? Usmart lo muntu lo, and then we started knowing each other. So now unakhona ndamxelela in a way yobana I'm a bit anonymous. We understand? Yeah, kwakunamafoni ukuthi ayikhona isikhathi yabona imixit.
Yeah.
Yabona imixit. Not everybody had actually that access. If ufumana access wakho mawukhona lapha uyachatisa whatever. Ngiyakhuluma lapha ngiyasho ngizenze anonymous. Nakhona this thing was eating me up.
You
guys, talk. I'm actually going through this and now kwenzakala ntoni. We understand. Ngimreporting there's this child don't this is what happened to her, teacher this then. She picked up ukuthi him. And how does she pick up? She says nobody had her numbers at that particular time. So immediately she knew
it's you.
The one akakhuluma naye manje who's trying to uveza ngenye indlela but reporting a story. That lady immediately wayese exchange nama contacts noma wami. She called my mother. Within a day after me talking to her, my mother was already at Eastern Cape because she was based in Joburg. So at that time, I had to start telling them what happened. And at this point, now I'm doing grade 12. I think it was just before we could write June exams. I don't really recall ama dates or call. Singing into grade 12, and I'm finally ready to speak about what has been bothering me. Throughout Valley School, now it's during the year, and I'm like, but lo muntu nimbona every day. And maybe if I could report this naye, we get to hear about what does he say about this. Because I'm not going forward, because this is too much on me, you understand? So that lady gave my family went in a school, and then the meeting was called. It's like, no, I'll never do that to Kanye. I will never. And I basically think Ukanye, because Ben's metric, I ban stress sabo, and then that was it. And I told them, I was like, you know what is really frustrating is that Bam no kuteti, bati unamagama 3. You understand? And then they sent me quick counseling. I remember school and they joined up. Then I be counseling when in Lapaya in my hometown. I had to say in whatever that was happening at that time, or what I believe might have happened. We are and then also when obviously the biggest mistake I did was not testing for HIV. If I had tested, I would say now, I got infected with HIV in 2008. Do you understand?
Pin it to
Yeah. But now I did not test for HIV around that year. And I think one of the reasons was it's already a lot.
Of course, you were going through the motions, like
you know, it's already a lot, and now my matric, and now I'm about to lose. And abantu abaninzi they've always known by when it comes to my schoolwork, I was forever dedicated. I needed the best. I wanted to, you know, achieve so that at least the poor make situation. And now we are obviously, now I did not test. And I think maybe at that time it was also proper because at some point my family was also worried stable. And people were like, yo, uzopasa vele. Metric. Hayi manje yabona mase kulesi stage. Angeke azaphasa.
How are you doing at school though?
Well, it was frustrating. You know, like if the same person has to come in a class and he's an LO teacher and then ufundisani, and then when your peers, they understand the story, you know, the conversation is about I don't know whether I was internalizing, but it would feel like this we understand. But then when he said he didn't and I never tested, I would say that was me ending that part. My diagnosis actually came about this. So right after that game, well, I lived, you know, I did have a boyfriend. The boyfriend I did my matric in 2009. So in 2009, we were going for a bursary in Don. We understand that there's this bursary that wanted to offer us a chance to pay our fees. Don. So that's why I met this guy.
Okay.
So look, he was obviously from Alwanot. Mna, Tingwasa Stakes Sprite. It's quite a distance. And obviously, I will never go see this nigga. Okay. But we exchanged ama details.
You're talking on the phone.
Yeah, we mix it. Yeah, bo. So man just say mix it out 2010, we say PE. Yeah, bo. 2010 we say PE, and then me and I'm my 2010, I'm doing my first year. You understand? And then say a chat, there's like, oh, I know someone in PE, I'm coming down. Yeah, bo. And then dam you understand? But then we use protection in his story. So at least I would say, but this is the second man now that I'm suspecting. But with him, it was just a once off. Then I was, you know, had to go back.
Okay.
We understand. And we did use a protection. Yeah, but nalo butiza. Otherwise would be the second guy after the incident at the child. Now what was happening there is that in the end and I'm to date in this if by there's a lot in the story that I obviously maybe if I don't know, I always say kunabantu abakhona ukubheka ingqondo yakho bangakutshela ukuthi wena in 90 whatever. Those people, maybe they can help. I don't know if they are really existing.
There are people who do the mirror thing. There's a mirror. They'll take you back.
Yeah, like take me back. I just need to see my past.
Let us know in the comment section. The mirror guy, there's somebody who's famous for using the mirror to look into people's lives. We need that person.
I need that person. We need you. Yeah, but so that at least we have a clear storytelling now.
Of what happened that day. Exactly. You'll always have those questions.
I'll always have those questions. But now here's one thing that would trigger me as I'm thinking also about it as an adult. So, you know what? I'm actually a virgin. Yeah, so definitely would be my first. To me, I've always thought I was, although there's this past experience here, something that I never consented. I never said yes. I never would have agreed. I know myself. I mean, I can never fail my peers, and then boom, Nalomfana, who was also my teacher, and then now you know. So I knew at that point, we're never gonna reach that. You understand? So what happened is that like disuke kuye iphele relationship yethu was just were to distance I started dating abantu besifazane. Now this is very interesting. This is where also Nami I've lived recklessly. You know, I've been a bad girl when it comes to being bad girls. And you understand, but I make sense.
The baddest girl, you know, like, in the block.
I fell in love with this girl. I still remember that time, and then it was just the beginning of me. And in 2011, I did a lot of house stations. I was everywhere. I was in the stations doing a lot. I did one night stands. I've done a lot of things with girls.
And how do you? Can I ask you? I don't know if I'm wrong, guys, but how do you get to the girls thing?
You just find somebody you click, somebody loves like you, somebody you like them. And I think at that point, the first girl, I'm the one who looked at her and I was like, I was shy. And I kept looking until she realized Bandim Jongile, one leg. That's how our relationship began.
Wow.
Yeah, And then I'm like, yeah, but you're so nice. That was just the beginning. We are boy relationship. I'm with a woman and I've dated women. After that, for that duration, I've been with women, changing women, going to clubs. I'm sleeping with women, coming to blah. I was just a baddie in 2011, and some maybe might remember me. Ukuthi yo lento mazana, yo nami nkenga, uyabo. Gangi busy.
So you were the man who goes around,
I don't even know how to describe myself, but I was so busy. I was very busy, like very, very busy until I met my stable partner in 2011, end of. But apho sengivitikile, I'm sure ngangiphelile. But umuntu
because you
uyavuka,
are
I'm sure.
dating women.
Don't say, And then what happened is that I met this one now, the one that I've also had to live with until 2017. Sabasonke, That was my longest standing relationship now. Now, nditibana naye in 2011, 2012, I'd started losing weight. Uyabo? I lose weight and I'm loving it because who doesn't want to be in their 20s and have a six-pack? So it never ringed a bell to say now you could be losing because there's things in your body that are working over time. You understand?
So all this while, you're not thinking about the amagama matatu?
I mean, I remember one person, one advisor, what? Maybe this hurts now, but as soon as you go out of this place, Ushekai, my hometown, you'll start a new life. And definitely you have to flow because it passed really is into esidlula, but it doesn't really determine la siyakona. And la uyakona, you can still decide to say, you know what, I'm here now. How do I live?
Yeah.
So life is about taking a decision.
Yeah,
if you can, it's possible to actually avoid izinto ezakuvisa kabuhlungu and start dwelling on. And as much as some of the people I've dated, I would tell them, hey guys, in high school, something terrible really happened. But none of them would say, hi, ngifuna siyo checker and whatever. But I would say my story the way it was.
You never hid your story.
Because it was my story and I felt by at some point I needed to talk about it, but at some point I didn't. Do you understand? So now I'm with this one, we are dating and then chigi. I'm losing nicely, I'm becoming whatever. People are asking me, block us. And when I was around this time, I would have lied, take this water, I'm selling it 200. I would have made money. I would have made money if it was now. Because people were so interested. Hi, Kanye. Because people have always known me. But no, I'm gonna six-pack glasses. I'm gonna fake. Now I'm losing. And also part of that is that like I could see bana no VJJ one man benga healthy at times.
Okay.
But I'm like kanjani. I remember my girl sometimes would actually suspect no ndifaka umfana bengiqonda lot umfana wapi. We understand?
Because of the situation of
because
the
of the situation. So bendingabi na healthy down there ubona uba hayi thumani kunentsumpana thathini elikhatha ukape lonto like women sethanda ukwenza into courtist. Uyabo? Now I'm like thathini elikhatha no that because it's very important if you are going down there in twin, you need to understand about how is this environment.
Yeah.
You don't just go down.
Go, yeah.
So we actually normalized that mna nentombi yami. Ubana iyachekwa ikhekhe because uzawuthi uyakhotha kanti mhlawumbe the toilet infection it's dangerous. So we do it in the light. So every time we pick those things up ndiqonda nsamuruki what the hell. But it never ringed a bell. I had a skin condition. I was telling my other friends the other time there was even a point where ubuso bami babusebucheberera. And one guy. So I studied and then there was a time where I had amamochulzales.
What do you mean by chaberera? Whatever you said.
My skin was like really bad. And now I'm waking up, my skin is dry, my skin is rushy, my skin is itchy, my skin is just terrible.
This is the time you're losing weight.
This is the time also around that period. I'm losing weight.
This is the time the VJJ is...
The VJJ is also like that. The skin is also going its own direction. And then at that particular time, we are in 2012 now, the year I then was finally diagnosed, yes, with HIV. So what happens there now? Now, okay, I did work. I was a casual at some store because I had only 3 modules at UJ at that particular time. So now I'm like, get something to do because I have enough time. So they were booking me as their casuals there. So now it's a working space, good space, and it was also perfect for Manana School at that time, who were just part-timing. This guy one time, they work with clinic products and some products ezinye zobuso yabo.
Okay.
We understand. So manje mina I'm always this colleague ohlala nobuso obuhlungu, and then I'm going to this particular lady to look for this product, and the lady was like, come, I've got this product, it can help you ngalento. So like on a weekly basis ngipha kuye because ubuso bami ubunjani njani. Omunye umfana wathi awusela khona lapha eStone. Wathi yazi ngiyakubona ukuthi wena every time uhlezi wathi hey uyangibona mina namagama u3. And lo elapha ebusweni it's HIV my darling uzongibamba isandla.
Like
and I cried the whole time. I remember at that time I was working at the men's fitting room. I cried when I had to relieve after lunch because I was like, can I see you nge lunch? Ngaya again. What's me, baby? You're always fetching products wena. And I just want to tell you ukuthi kuyophela ama products but lento yakho izomani ibuya ibuya. And that was exactly what was happening at that time. But lento ngiba kanje now iphinde ihambe. And then she told me ba uzoqeda be products wena. Uzoqeda ama products mina nginalaba and ngiyayazi lento nayo.
I know it.
Ngiyayazi wangidiagnose. Kwabuya lanto manje my past. Kwabuya every other things I cried a fitting room. No, I remember umama wathi ungamnaki manje labantu laba berongo laba manje bafuna ukufaka nani ezintweni zabo ezirongo. What just be strong. And then I had to be. So now it came a time working ngoku I had to go and test for HIV. And then I was talking to the nurse there, siyamxolela into bana ntonto. It's like, oh, but how do you do it with girls, yabo? That was a conversation in the nurse yam. What? So you've never had sex with a guy? So ndiyamxolela into bana I've got stories like this and that. But you know what? Let's just test now. Because it could be that wena ubhizi la uzitshela ukuthi unamagama amathathu kanti awunawo. Until you face this thing manje, then you know the truth. You will get to live your life.
Be free.
Be free, yabo. And then I was like, nah, let me give it a chance because finally, time is here now. Yabo. And I wasn't even prepared on that day, the clinic ubandio test and all of that. I just went in because I needed a sick note.
Oh.
Then for the sick note.
Then you ended up...
I ended up testing. Sabuyi results is 2 lines.
Sure.
And ndagowa.
Sure.
Ndagowa into bana that was just the beginning of a diagnosis yam. There was a lot. It was a lot for me.
It takes you back, like...
Took me back. And then it also now, currently, things. I'm like, dude, wam, akazi bafana, waza mantombi. Definitely me, na lowest roko, ngimnikeze yon. I thought ngim-infectile. At some point,
one
because
that you stayed long term with. Long
term, I'm like, we were only 8 months in that relationship. But also your relationship with cooler until we broke up officially in 2017.
So after you find out you don't break up with... Did you tell her?
I didn't.
Okay.
I went back.
Of course you have to digest.
And then obviously if I'm going back now, then keep it most of the times pa kwakhe. You know, ngipipitile. Uyabo. And then like I'm in between this place, between my school, between kwakhe, ngipipitile. Doing dom yakhe, doing main cold. Yabo. And then that was it. I never told this person until 2014.
Okay, 2012, you find out. You stay also. Denial comes
13, 14 without taking medication. And 14 was a whole period. The virus was like, I'm so tired of you now. I became sick. Like mentally. That was the first sickness. I'd already lost so much weight now.
So it went straight to your brain?
Yeah, it was busy creating that vibe. It went straight there to my brain.
So the first thing you got was like mental illness?
Mental illness. That was the first evidence of you are going very soon if you don't manage this situation. Because losing weight and being around people like now you are losing weight, it is not really a big flag.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I don't want to lie, I really enjoyed it. It was a time for me to just walk tall. I don't know for what. You understand? So I then... obviously became mentally ill around that time and sazi nokuthi ngiyachama ngiyakaka ngenzani yonke into besiziphumela. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Although I never really see amahlanya azibhoshelayo, but mina besehlanga nama diarrhea manje ku bad.
You home at this time when everything is just going.
Then when it happened, someone who told me, this is my ex-girlfriend. Uthi sandangena etoilet ngiphethe iBhayibheli ngiyothandaza. Ngabuya ngingasekho right enhloko.
Kanyisa, I don't want to laugh. This is a serious situation.
This is serious. Please don't laugh. Okay. You know? So uthi ngangena etoilet ngiphethe iBhayibheli.
So when you
We were
don't
on the
remember this
fasting, so we would go to church, me and my partner, and we really followed up. So if they're fasting for now we're doing that. But now I have to go in. I started, the Bible. We were praying, fasting, whatever. Mangbuya, rakile. Uthi manje mangibuya I'm like, yo yini ngangijwayele kabi ngibona abantu manje ngithe ngizonikhahlela nini emkhulu blah blah, all of those things. Guys, she thought because I'm a drama queen.
So it can get to that, like
Ubani. I later discovered that it can get to that because now, over my diagnosis, I've been seeing my cousins there in that moment. Abanye they come in umbona ukhwabicha kwanto. Them start talking to themselves.
What causes the infection?
I don't know. They're saying at later stage, it does this way, it affects the brain.
Okay.
The meningitis vibes and then da. Hi, Zimkin.
And then you go to the hospital at this point.
I was hospitalized for almost 8 months, And
What?
initially hospitalized in the psychiatric ward.
Sure.
So then it was obviously becoming worse. But then what happened is that at the clinic, they would do some test. And then they picked up about, namakama matatu, Then my mother, who was obviously with my girl at that time when they called her at clinic, can we talk? She didn't know what was the conversation about. Yeah, now we can talk. Like, you can be there, but you'll hear what they say. I was like, can we really talk? It's like, yeah, we can. Did you know Gutukani une HIV?
Yo.
My partner is here. That's how she found out.
She found out in the most horrible way.
What are you going to do to me? I'm tied in the ropes. I'm mentally ill. I'm in the clinic. Yeah. I'm even masturbating right in the hospital. Please, guys, please. Like, I urge you to avoid that situation. I honestly say it's being in denial. Nobody really deserves to have HIV. I mean, this thing really...
You were bad. Like, girl.
I was bad. I mean, who would do that? Like, who's brashala ngapansi at clinic? Mina. Like, I wouldn't do that. I mean, there's private spaces to do that.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was horrible. So I would ask my friends, why was I tied with ropes? Yeah, well.
So you don't remember most of the things that you were doing during that time?
I'm like, why was I tied? Because I had episodes when ngibe right. They're like, do you see us? Why?
Why are you asking me that question?
Why? But then I didn't understand. No, it's
There's
gone.
touch and go.
We understand. So now I had that. And then that was just it. But then I would say I recovered because immediately they initiated me on ARVs. But even besides that, I started bleeding because of pipes. Apparently there was pipes in my so I don't know which hole, but there was pipes down there. So now there was blood in those pipes passing, and the doctor was like, no, but this is strange. It's best you take her to the place of origin, that is Eastern Cape. Because if she just closed the road, it's going to be expensive on transport. So they had to change the hospital, and that's why Emakaya. And home is where the heart is, because I'm standing here now. Yabo.
So when you go home, or you go to the hospital?
Go to the hospital at home, so that even if ngiyacisha laphaya kwazi nje ukuthi hayi ngizolandwa nje la.
So doctors had given up.
I'm telling you, they had. I mean, it was just a sign of as much as maybe they did not give up, they were also fearing, because my mom is not that old. My mom is a fresh baby. I'm a teenage product, a pregnancy product.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So they're like, we can see you young, but will it be of, advantage kuwe xa umele uhambise isidumbu? You understand? Exactly. So that was just it. And then, yes, around that time I recovered. And I remember at some point, my family was the one who was giving me pills because I was still not mentally stable.
Oh.
So when I became better, they sent me to counseling, where I met this woman who told me straight up, what, Jonga, uzgagelile wena. You messed on your pants. And not because we're too ngakwenza ngalondlela, but because you did not want to manage it.
Yeah.
But now if you don't manage it still, uzawuphinde uzimoshele.
Do you want that?
Do you want that? I was like, I definitely don't need that. But now surviving, I hated mirrors. I see there's a mirror there. But I hated mirrors.
Looking at yourself.
I know, who's this now? And I was like, I didn't like mirrors because I was terrible.
Sure.
I was terrible. Now I had to take my treatment, although I was forgetful. At times I wouldn't do it right, I'm sure. But my family was always assisting me.
The support.
Yabo. And then came a time where I just felt and hey, it's just a lot. I just want to go back to Joburg.
Okay.
And then I came back. Then I was also continuing with my ARVs. Yeah, so
by this time you're fine.
Yeah, but this time now I'm recovering slowly. I was thinner than I am now. See, I went through the episodes. This body has been through all the kinds of transitions. You know, I was at some point lost so much weight. Sexy. Then when I recovered, still I didn't like that now after being sick and hospitalized. I was like, I don't like being thin like this. I mean, at first, I didn't understand whether I had HIV. So I'd always say to myself, it's better to HIV than to be slender.
Hey, because like you loved the body because you thought, I'm just losing weight.
I'm just losing weight.
Now you find out why you're losing the weight. Now you want to go back to being, and then you continue with your life. You're fine now. You go back to that girlfriend.
I go back to that girlfriend.
Okay. You guys are fine.
And she tells me, I know, we were on a call and she's like, I already know you are HIV positive. I was in the Eastern Cape. I said, I already know you are HIV positive. And I said, she knows. But come back. Yeah, bo.
She's fine with the...
Yeah, so she did test because I was like almost 9 months, just gulela, you know. So we've been past window period, and like she expressed to say, you know what, I went through a lot. It was painful, but I don't have HIV. And if I had HIV, bengizo kubulala.
So you guys continue with your relationship?
Yeah, and then but it wasn't nice. It was a bit toxic. Nyana manje uyakhothwa so uyasaba yonke lanto le. But she was actually I ngiyamvuma.
Yeah,
you know, after all of that, but she still was like, nah, come back. You know, she did. I would say that, and I also did at that particular time. But ngoku, that was just it. Then beginning of my life journey. Then I started wanting to gain my weight back. You know, I remember going from like, manje ngizophuza nama vitamins azongidlisa ngigain.
And then now I want us to talk about how you disclose to the people, telling everybody that this is me, I have this, how did you get there? And then tell us about how you got the body you're talking about now.
Okay, now, there's a lot of bodies I've had before, but there's the one I have now, Skora. On social media, we are above amabengena lapha bathi indoda noma umfazi lo. But ladies and gentlemen, babakhuluma nami. But awusamtholi ladies and gentlemen, akekho nje umuntu mina oyiskore engafaniswa naye. We understand. What's why yabo? And that was also part of the journey. But before that, disclosing, I wouldn't say it's easy because I've also actually experienced the difficulty of disclosing, more especially to a sexual partner.
Sure.
I've always said, hey, Asuka, if you know my status and you're just a neighbor, friend, Asuka, you're not my partner. Even if you reject me, it's fine. I've heard that thing about Asuka, but so it wasn't easy, but I always tried. And I would say to my friends, if you are trying to disclose, I think it's better you engage in questions. Ask, when was the last time you tested? Can we go test together? Yeah, but you might be shocked to the person you're scared to tell that you're HIV positive. They also have HIV.
So it's a strategy, basically, to say,
let's go. And as soon as you get there, they will pick it up. But although people are saying now when you're undetectable, untransmittable, negative, don't. But if that person also is not detected, wait for the next period and then go. And please, protection while you guys are getting to know each other. Yeah. As some people, you can just avoid ucansi. And I don't know if people can really avoid.
People can't.
But if you can't, protection while you are in that stage. Even now as a person who lives with HIV. Because it's going to help you. What if you just came in and then you don't use protection? And you found this person already infected with HIV. And now you are comfortable to speak. And this person goes to test because you told them who's going to be in danger there. So it's best we use protection while we are actually learning how to navigate. But there's no formula, you know. Just we always say when you are ready. But you are ready
People
when?
are never ready.
Yeah, well, it depends. Although I'm ready in the next 10 years, wow, that's really long. But then that's when you'll be ready. But also you need to look at the situation and think, how do I then save myself from the future accusations?
Because you have to save yourself at the end.
You have to save yourself. I don't want to go around with people telling me, yes, she infected me with HIV. And I always say that, Mishi, if people are saying to me, because they had sex with me in the past and I'm telling my story like now, I didn't know I had HIV.
Then
that was not an intentional.
Yes,
I
was not
I knew I had a story, but it wasn't even confirmed.
You were not diagnosed.
How do I go about telling people that I actually have it when I've never been pricked? Do you understand? So people love that blaming game.
Yeah, people do that.
People love the blaming game, but at some point we have to save ourselves from such
you have to be responsible for your own well-being,
for your own
guys.
well-being, for your own mental health. Because when somebody starts coming and saying you, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna affect how you think. It's gonna affect how life then continues. Then save yourself.
Save yourself.
Yeah, then
Don't.
then later say everything in details, but save yourself. It works like that a lot of times. So with the medication, you asked about the...
Yeah, we get to now how you get to be uHenry.
uHenry. Yes, good how I got to be uHenry. Like I tell people that I've had a serious cycle of... yes, but I've been challenged in the journey. Yazi ukuthi to a point that angazi nokuthi noma HIV yomuntu omdala ihlupha kanje yini, but ngisele amaphilisi for 5 years, they were not working.
How?
I took the first line regimen, and at that point I was not even interested in what medication I was taking, but I'm pretty much sure it was TEE, the one with efavirenz.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have to go through my file and really find out about which pill was I initiated in. They have that in the system. Do you understand? And now they gave me that. It never worked. My viral load was still high. It wasn't dropping as quick.
So that's possible. You taking medication, but it not working.
Well, I would say for me, it was working at a rate that was obviously questionable. I don't know what they expected. Whether there's a rating where it's the decline should happen, whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
But for me, I remember so well that one of the records, the copies of viral load was close to 500,000 copies.
Okay.
At some time in my life. This is me when I'm checking the file but I've had so much copies, and it was like a big thing. Because they were like, that means you're not taking your treatment right. That means, and I was actually doing my best because ndibuya etunen.
So you are trying.
So now I'm really trying. I'm not gonna be perfect every day, but I'm definitely in this. I'm focusing because I'm funufa. But it wasn't working. My viral load was not becoming 0. Like less than 20, less than 50, lower than detectable. You understand? And then now, 2019 beginning, if I still remember, I started learning about U is equal to U. That means that when you're undetectable, it's untransmittable. So I was like, okay, that means I can get it raw. Then I was like, I'm interested. I do want, I'm still going to grow up and do these things. Now, let's suppress this virus. Then I was finally comfortable with them changing my medication.
Okay.
They moved me from that one to the next regime.
Okay.
Which then I took Aluvia and Lamzit. Now I'm taking this combination. Babes, mna ndingumntu wayene-hips. Uyakuba ngoku ndilapha ne. Bendine-hips mna ndingumntu right even during that period. Do you understand? I took my ARVs and then I was still fine and all of that. But they changed me now. Banpalo Aluvia yam. I only experienced diarrhea.
Okay.
The only thing I would say after the transition was diarrhea, but body-wise, stable, sexy bae.
Fine.
I'm still sexy. I don't know what you see right there, but I'm still sexy.
She's sexy,
Depends
guys.
on you.
Yeah.
It depends on you. The feeling is just depending on you. Because yo bungamamela abantu sozukwazi uyaphambili. Yabo bona babona iskora mina ngibona.
Sexy bae.
Do you understand? And then now after that, changing the medication, I was still fine. Now in 2021, they changed me to a different pill now. Obviously it was a burden. Taking that Aluvia, it was 6 ARVs a day. That was too much. 6. I'm telling you. Sure. So I took 6 ARVs a day, but I was still fine.
Okay.
I was just perfect. I would say I don't know why I keep saying that. Let me not overemphasize. But then 2021 they changed me. They gave me, they switched the Aluvia and they replaced it with dolutegravir 50 milligrams.
Guys, big terms. Bear with me.
I know it's like I'm talking French, but it's not the language for everybody.
Yeah.
This is why they've got these special abbreviations, you know, like here TLD, TEE, AZ, whatever. They're just trying to make sure we don't go through that naming, which is frustrating. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing them right.
But girl, we're not experts.
I'm telling you. So now they gave me that dilute gravel 50 milligrams with my Lamzit. So I've always had Lamzit from the beginning. And then around that time, this is when I started 2023. That is just a year later. The
feet.
Hey,
the legs, not the feet.
Like inyawo zami ngathi manje ziba hey uyabo. And mina ngisumuntu like ohambe rough heels, rough what? No, now ngiyabona time man, and I went through a depression. Started down.
So it was that visible, like it's major.
It was so visible, I could not even deny it. I remember at some point I broke down. There was a gathering of women that lives with HIV, and they could tell, like, ukanye this year ngakho right. These people have followed me since 2020. They understand the vibe. They know what this girl energy. But now you're weak because I've started seeing. I remember one time the event new girl. She says to me, hey, you need to stand strong. I've been positive for some time. Young born,
sure.
I feel comfortable at times, but I'm just alive. I'm doing this because I've always wanted to live. I'm gonna continue. Sure. You understand? So okay, yeah, if people are actually living with all the changes, then I know it's mentally, it's affecting one at a different, position complicated. Now I had all of this, now it's slowly disappearing. Yeah, kupuka ngongi hips, ndiba straight. And I know bikianja lento man. It's more like Satan.
You see yourself change when
the lower, like if hips is here, yabona manje I'm straight, man. I'm like, oh Lord, every time. Why is this happening to me? I've always known kutwa abantu bala HIV yakdala. They went through that.
Yeah.
Those people who obviously not necessarily the HIV, but the people who took the medication. I don't know how you say it. They went through that and it was challenging. Some had ridiculous body weight, just flowing. All of that. It wasn't easy. Do you understand? Manje, I'm actually now here. And I'm like, why now?
So it just took away the shape, everything.
Takes and then down there. Yabong she like yeah, ubon ukuthi hey. Imuntu thick but nama ngathi score mu fit ukuthi ujima happy ngaleso sikhathi mina ngihlele esofeni ngiyenza ama live ku TikTok. Sanibonani abanye base gymini. But wena so uyajima manje. Hey, go through a lot. Because my ngomba la ikhethes part yabona phe ekugcineni so apha ku it just shapes you differently. Do you understand?
And
so
I can imagine there's nothing you can do about this change.
It's
happening in your body.
And there's people always say report, but obviously some things cannot be really reversed. Unless now I saw a video, someone faki millions. I don't know if that's even possible, but it's just those things. Who's gonna cover that expense?
Yeah,
that medical expense. Honestly, do you understand? Now I've changed. Now I can see. But okay, I'm not really losing. Like you I am, gaining. I'm gaining. So it makes me go voila.
So you lose. Yeah, it goes all the way up.
Whatever displacement is happening. Until recently, I've been diagnosed with lipodystrophy. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. Oh my gosh. But lipodystrophy is that condition that obviously was associated with the old time medication to say that you have lipodystrophy because you took whatever and then okay. You understand? And I mean, my question would be all the time, if people would come here educated and they're saying, it was the olden time, then those who were professionals but switched us, why was they mixed up and all? I always have those questions. Okay, but if people say they are so much, everything is clear, why then would you still recommend to confusing the whole system now and making somebody look like some fish tank? Do you understand? So, but then this is always say like nobody is perfect.
Yeah.
Even the people who are doing the things that we say they are going to whatever, they are not really masters. Yeah. They don't understand everybody.
Yeah.
We are different.
Because it's it's like
I would say it's exactly. Do you understand? Now Henry is score I'm told grant. We understand ukuthi like isasa at this point kumele ngumuntu ozibhekelayo yabo ukuthi ayikhanye ngeke phela uqale kanjani ubunjani ayikho neleyo nto leyo. And sometimes you just realize ukuthi a lot of times you're on your own.
Yeah.
You have to sit there. I had those series where tata nam dithi Kanye, this is where we are now. What we gonna do?
This is your reality now.
This is my reality now. Am I gonna wake up every day weeking every day?
Yo, and Kanye, you are taking this so well. You know, when I saw you on social media, I was thinking this girl is pretending. I want to meet this girl. You know, girl, you're taking this so well.
You try. I mean, because you just realize, but even if I wasn't, that all of that heaviness, it's still ibakuwe. I might be able to tell you now, but I'm feeling whatever, and that feeling sometimes we drive it. It's kind of feelings. You want us to make also over now, but it's draining, and now I push.
It's taking away your joy.
Taking away your joy. Then you decide to say, "Oh no, I'm not saying I do not see. I know this is the situation now, but what else?
I'm handling it."
But what else? You understand? There's so much that
and you
one
can't
can
stop
do.
your medication because of the changes that you are encountering.
At some point, I would say, manga stop. Those are just bad thoughts. Again, that's bullshit. You know.
You go back.
I mean, for someone like me, it's not that easy. Understanding now that there's over 1 million people, they aren't obviously traceable. Some of them are over. They don't want treatment. So now if we can really understand why, you'd find out ukuthi abanye hey basibona bengoHenry umuntu wathi damn nay. But mina the fear of like really now taking my family through that trauma.
Yeah.
They went through it, and I understand ukuthi it did so much to them. Maybe some it was just an eye opener to say, hey, this thing is brutal.
Because as much as you are infected, your family is affected.
They are affected. So now if I could then decide, although okay, we like saying, I don't know, this is foolish. Say good time and life yam, I cause I'm just taking this to manage the condition. How many people just passed on bahamba being an You understand? And they just leave and they're not coming back. Yeah. But now you are here and you're like, well, is it really these pills that are making me see the next day? No. We understand. There's bigger forces that are making sure but you are here, you exist.
You're supposed to be here. Remember, you could have lost your life back then when you were sick, but God said no. Not
now. And you know, like people always say, but we like it when God chooses the ones with a voice so that they can speak. I'm like, God knows what next is he going to give me? Because he feels like I'm going to be able to talk about it.
But nothing God gives you is going to be too big for you. Look at how you're handling this well. And now you are sitting here educating people, telling them that actually you are changing because of your medication. It's not because there's something wrong with you. And it's not because when you are ninja. No, it's the medication. It's not the same for everybody. So you sitting here, nje, for me, it's enough. Telling people that you know what.
and I'd always say, because now I'm like, people, they were like to me, you know what, Kanye? We know you take things light because you actually spoken to yourself, but just go to further, take it further and understand what really is happening. And they did confirm that.
I remember when you...
my medication side effects have landed me to this position. And they even said that now, obviously, it's fats everywhere. In unwanted places, but it's almost everywhere.
And there's nothing you can do to...
I'm sure nobody wants to lose money in any of these things. But maybe
there is something that can be done.
They say, although they cannot really reverse much of lipodystrophy, but to manage all the other things, it can be done. Okay. So I mean, like I just started joining the gym, but when you've been lifting for some time and I'm just 2 months at gym. I don't even know how to respond sometimes. Oh my Lord, your Lord. Yeah, and then I'm like, and they're lifter, I've never even carried that. So the fitness advantage.
Guys, please don't come for me on the comment section about this laughing. This woman is very funny. You can even go check her out on Facebook. What's your Facebook? Okay, her Facebook handle will appear somewhere here on the screen. Okay. You go check it out. And the TikTok as well. It will appear here on the screen. And also, if you have questions, she's just more than willing to answer anything because people are at home, they have conditions, their bodies are changing, they don't know all the terms she said. You have questions, just go ahead and she's am I wrong?
No, I'm here.
You are happy to tell
I'm happy
people.
to engage.
Yeah, so guys, she's your voice. Like, you're sitting at home, you have HIV, and you're quiet, or you are scared to disclose. Whatever your situation might be, there are people like her who are willing to be like, you know what, I'm willing to teach for free, guys. I mean, just holla at her, and she's the bubbliest person I've ever met. So just talk to her. So, Kanye, in closing, you are living with this body that you got because of the side effects of the medication you are taking, and you are not, in my experience of what I see on social media, you're doing it so well. Any stresses because of this body that you have right now? Any depression that comes with it, or are you over that completely?
Well, I would never know. You see, one thing about mental health and our just health overall, there's things that triggers,
Yeah.
And you cannot say, I'm
Yeah.
over this until you are triggered
Yeah.
by something.
True.
But it's just baby steps.
I love that answer. Guys, thank you for watching. I was with Kanye's and Doda, the most gorgeous, beautiful babe on the block. So do go check her out. And from your Tswana hand, I'll be tapping out till I see you again on my next episode. Do not forget to write to us if you want to come join us on this Journeys with More podcast. And you're most welcome. Just hit me up. There'll be a number appearing on the screen. And yeah.